Hello, it's Doris with Aussie Books, and I always try to do, currently reading, Friday reads, Monday check-in type things, and I always seem to fail at that and then have a big stack at the end of the month that I can't get through in a timely manner and, struggle to remember what I even should say about them, but, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit, right? Or you just don't watch. So this one might be a little longer than I like. I generally like to keep my videos in the, especially, talking about books. I mean, vlogs can be a little longer. Why am I rambling? I'm just making it longer. But I like to keep this type video in the 10 to 15 minute range, and I'm probably not going to hit that mark. And there are also cat clips that I'm going to tag on to the end because, the cats have just been really cute the last couple of days. So if you just want to fast forward to that, that's totally fine too. Or just, if you don't like cats, skip it. How can I ramble more? What was I even saying? I had a point here. Oh, I am having to split my wrap up into two. So this one's going to be my Aussie April stuff. You probably know that already from the title. And I'm going to do a Natalie-esque style and rank them from least favorite to favorite, which isn't going to be entirely accurate because I have a least favorite and I have a favorite, and the ones in the middle I enjoyed equally. And per my own usual style, I'm going to cheat. So there's that. Is there anything else I want to add to this intro to make it a 20-minute-er? I don't know. Let's just get into it. So, my least favorite, and I really am going to go out on a limb here and say I kind of didn't like this book, would be Foreign Soil by Maxine Beneva Clark. So this is a short story collection. I think it is incredibly well written. It speaks of the immigrant experience from many different cultures and locations around the world. It is really well done in that she gets so many different perspectives. Yeah, really liked that about it. There were a couple stories that I really did enjoy, like the like Big Island was really neat with the dialects and the hopefulness about it. I don't remember hope. I guess you can kind of get the idea that I like more hopeful stories. I really liked that one a lot. And then there was one that Gaps in the Hickory, I think it was, that it was really, really interesting combination of an LGBTQ coming of age story with the Ku Klux Klan and, parents and grandparents. It was really neat. But there was one story that I read early on that just really hit me wrong. I hated it. That was, I don't know, Harlem Jones, I think it was. Foreign Soil, was the title story, was a hard read as well. And then Shu Yi, which was about bullying in school. And those were 3 of the first 5. So I think having them front loaded like that kind of spoiled the experience for me. But yeah, in this collection, a lot of the stories end on a downward turn and they feel like they have no resolution, and and I realize that it's a short story, so the character development can only be minimal, but the choices the characters make just don't always make sense to me. And like I said, that second one just really soured the story, the collection for me in a big way. So there is that. And then, like I said, these next ones, I really enjoyed all of them. So Laura Elizabeth Woolett's Beautiful Revolutionary. This is a fictionalized account of the Jim Jones People's Temple, that whole tragic tale. It was super interesting. Like, I knew of that story, but I didn't know really any of the details beyond the Kool-Aid. So yeah, wow. I'm kind of interested to read a nonfiction account of this now, and she references several that I might check into in the back of the book. So really enjoyed this. Highly recommend if you're into cult stories, that kind of thing. And then the next three, this is the cheat. So Dark Emu by Bruce Pascoe. This is Aboriginal Australia and the Birth of Agriculture. So this is a nonfiction account, and he basically lays out the premise that the Aboriginal peoples in Australia were not simple hunter-gatherers. They had a complex society and were very innovative in environmental agriculture. And Australia needs to get back to some of these roots and learn from this Aboriginal antiquity with environmental impacts in today's society. I found it super interesting. I mentioned this last month with Sea People that I read about the Polynesian really early culture there, in that we're getting more accounts of these early peoples and their intellectual culture. You know, I think with European mindset, with colonialization and downplaying their accomplishments, I'm really loving seeing these accounts that, you know, show what they really were. So highly recommend this if you are kind of completely unaware of the Aboriginal culture like I was. I mean, not completely unaware, but, you know, minimal awareness. This is a little bit textbooky, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion, but, you know, slower read perhaps. And there are a little bit of repetitive areas, but to me that's okay because of the structure and the way he had to kind of bring those things up again. So I'm holding it up with two other books because I've already reviewed these. Follow the Rabbit Proof Fence by Doris Pilkington, aka Nugi Garamara, and Mullumbimby by Melissa Lukashenko. These are all Aboriginal First Nations authors, Australian obviously, but this was a really neat reading experience together. So Mullumbimby is a current story, just a contemporary story, I should say, set in Australia, with an Aboriginal woman, First Nations woman, and a little bit of spiritual nature to it, with getting back to her cultural roots. And then Follow the Rabbit Proof Fence is the story of when these children, especially the ones that were of mixed heritage, with, you know, usually the mother being Aboriginal and the father being European, and how they were taken from their homes to be raised in schools away from their families, supposedly for their betterment, but they were really just taken from their families. Sad story. And these girls escaped and made it back home. So just a neat, you know, with antiquity and then early days of colonization. I always have trouble with that. And then contemporary. So this was, you know, a really great reading experience together like that. I really like those. And then I finally got to People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks. A lot of people have suggested this to me because I read The Weight of Ink. I don't know if you can see it. No. Where is it? I can't go backwards very well mentally. Oh, there it is. Pointing with the wrong finger. That one. You probably didn't even care. I just wanted to make this video longer. Oh my word. Yeah, this was about a really ancient Jewish text, a Haggadah, which incidentally, Hannah had a really neat section on her most recent video about the Haggadah in her family. So I will link that video below and try to remember anybody else that I've mentioned and link them below as well. But yes, so this one, it's set in contemporary times in Australia in 1996, but it travels back and tells the history of this book and the people that have protected it through the ages. And it starts out in Seville, Spain in 1480, and then travels all the way to Sarajevo in modern times. I really enjoyed this. Kind of the premise is that, you know, we all need to be united no matter what our faith heritage is. You know, it talks about Muslims, Jewish, Christian, and how they've all, you know, had impact on the creation and travel and protection of this book through the years. So yeah, really cool. And then my favorite of my Aussie reads this month, I'm really happy that I got to 7. And, you know, my favorite was Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton. So, this book was a really fun read and ended up being really impactful. And I say ended up because I was really hesitant through over half as to what the author was saying. So a little bit of context in that is that this is a story about young children, like 8 or 9 years old, through the teen years, you know, approaching adulthood. But, you know, in those early years, the two boys, their parents were drug sellers. You know, they didn't, like, I guess, deal in them per se, and they didn't sell them to individuals, but they were involved in the trafficking. You know, they were middlemen, so taking it from one middleman to the next middleman kind of thing. And I have real issues with drugs and children and just drugs in general. So the beginning of this book, the first half, it was very questionable to me whether it was just a story and, you know, or if he was going to say something about society, which I really needed him to do. So I guess, spoiler alert, he did. The resolution in the end really worked for me. And then there's an afterword, which I wish had been a foreword, because it would have made me enjoy the book even more. I wouldn't have had that questioning, which, you know, may have been a good thing, but, you know, with my quirks, I would have rather known. But this is, it's not auto-fiction, I wouldn't say. It's highly fictionalized. But, you know, this whole concept of being a young child and your parents selling drugs was part of his childhood. So he's writing from his own experience, own voices, I should say, I guess. So he has a real connection and he has a real heart for this story, and it really comes out in the end. There's this whole beautiful narrative of how you can forgive people that fall short in your life and still learn from them and still love them. So, you know, the mother, obviously, but there are three men in these boys' lives. The biological father, the stepfather, and the babysitter, who are really wise men, really loving men, and really flawed men. And I'll just stop there, but I'm just so good. It's also, like I said, really funny. The end, oh my goodness, the twists and turns just kept coming at you. It was awesome, really exciting. The last 20%, the ending there. And I will give the disclaimer that the language in this is absolutely atrocious. I mean, it kind of makes sense with what I've just told you. Absolutely atrocious. And there are several instances of grossness, like, you know, potty grossness type things and bloody grossness, all that, and some real violence as well. So if that is off-putting for you. But yeah, this was awesome. And so I had a great Aussie April with this whole stack of books. Really enjoyable for the most part. New shirt, Kindness is Golden. And that segue, there are two other channels that I've been spoiling to tell you about. They're not booktube channels, but I thought I would just share. One is I Am Tabitha Brown. She is on TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, but she's jumped from TikTok to Instagram and YouTube and I guess Twitter too. But she's just delightful. She's a vegan chef, kindness, African-American influencer. She has my heart. Everything that she drops, I immediately watch because she's so uplifting and so charming. And then the other one is Cabi. I don't remember her channel names at the moment, but she's kind of a new into weight loss success story. And again, she is just so about self-love and positivity and kindness as well. So I highly recommend both of those if you just are interested in either of those topics and want to check them out or just get a little dose of upliftingness. I don't know. And yeah. Oh God, I'm almost at 20 minutes. Let me ramble for 53 more seconds, or not. But yeah, I'm gonna attach the Catcapades at the end of this. So enjoy that if you like that sort of thing and you're actually still here. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye. I really can't get enough of this cuteness.
Why you guys eye though?
Because I woke him up. Okay. Reading the Pulitzer winner this morning. Hey, what happened to my tablecloth guy? Do you know? Huh? It's not there. Yeah, I know who did it. What in the world? What in the world? The hazards of having a tablecloth with tassels. Yeah, you go outside. Look at that face. What? Ooh, boo. You fired up. You see ghosties? Uh-oh. Boo, everybody loves you. Boo's feeling it today.
Yeah, Boo.
Oh my goodness. Just walk away, Boo. Walk away. Was him taking naps? Did the kitty cats taking naps? I don't know what she's thinking about. Oh! Boo, baby. Are you rearranging the furniture, guy? Huh? What's going on with my rugs? You don't have anything to say for yourself? Walking in sunlight, whoa. Don't it feel good?